This is a special edition of Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn. We're going to spend some time with master herbalist and formulator with over 40 years of experience, but apparently whatever Paul does, he doesn't look his age. So I just wanted to say that. And Paul, I should have asked you this before we started. Pronounce your last name for us.
It is Schulick.
Schulick.
That's it.
Okay.
My
Got it.
friends used to make fun of me like you lick your shoes. And so it is Schulick.
Schulick.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. Some Eastern European derivative.
Yeah. I think it was a Schul was a teacher. So it's interesting. My heritage goes back to being a teacher.
Got it. We have the same heritage, I can tell.
Yes.
Along with Dean, who
Yes.
with you.
Yes.
It's real funny, and I know this is a little personal, everybody, but I think it's kind of fun. One of Paul's staff members, Dean, went to high school with my wife.
Oh, sweet.
Couple of years apart, but they were there at the same time, at least toward the end of when my wife graduated. All right, let's get down to it. We have a company and products called For the Biome, and it's something that helps people be more beautiful. It's a skin care company. Would that be a way of describing it?
Thank you, Mark. I would call it a wellness company, not a skincare company. Many people think of the skin, or many companies, so-called beauty companies, may not fully embrace the holism of what the skin represents. And the skin is just a mirror of some sort. And I was very interested, I've always been very interested in the health of the skin. And if one has healthy skin, whether you're 80 years old or whether you're 20 years old, the skin reflects your state of health, and also both in mind and in body. So from my perspective, I wanted to begin from the outside and then move within to help. Again, the last company that I initiated was it was a company called New Chapter, and I started that in 1982, and so what I'm doing now is kind of a continuation of wellness, and it's just in my DNA. My dad was a physician. I went on my first house call when I was 4 years old. He was a pediatrician, so I would come with him. And
the days of house calls. Wow.
That's right.
Let's bring
Can
them
you
back,
imagine?
folks. Yeah.
Can you imagine now your doctor coming to your home and touching you and feeling your pulse and it just had such a warm and incredibly wonderful feeling to it.
I have a friend who's a physician in the area, and he does house calls, but he's also very, very sure that touch of a physician to a patient is a good percentage of the healing process.
Let me tell you a quick story on that, Mark.
Sure.
I was in India years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, and I met with a friend or one of my colleagues as well, and met with a surgical oncologist, and he was an internationally recognized surgical oncologist. He practiced in India, but he also practiced in England and around the world. And he would come back and do pro bono work in India, and he would have. We went to his clinic, and we would see many, many, many people waiting in his clinic to be treated. And he said, I could treat twice as many people, at least, as I do. But what I have found is if I hold their hands for 10 or 15 minutes, the healing rate more than doubles.
Oh
So,
my.
so that is a story from Dr. Shukla that has stayed with me my whole life, and or will stay with me my whole life. So we forget the power of connection, and that is one of my favorite quotations in traditional Chinese medicine, which is, where there is connection, there is no pain. Where there is pain, there is no connection. And so the company that my wife Barbie and I started for the biome, the goal of this company was to build connection. And so, yeah, skin is part of it, but also it's your immune system, it's your respiratory system, it's your cardiovascular system. So all the systems of the body need to be integrated and supported both in the mind and the body.
And by the way, if you go to forthebiome.com, I'm just doing a little thing because I was looking at it earlier. There's a free meditation on there. So I
Yes.
was really impressed with that. And afterwards, I'm going to do it. I didn't have time yet because I think meditation is really good. Skin is the largest organ of the body,
Yes. And
right? That's
yes,
that,
and yes.
that's from somebody who didn't do so well in biology in high school.
Right. Yeah, it's the largest organ and it communicates. It communicates with others outside of ourselves. So right now, although we're on Zoom together, Mark, you're getting a sense of my skin's state of tension or lack of. You're getting a sense of my age and my vibrancy. And even on Zoom, we can get a sense of each other. And your skin looks very healthy, looks very alive and vibrant. And so we get that sense from each other. But the skin also is now being recognized in the most recent couple of years as actually, we think of our central nervous system as our brain, or our brain is up here. But actually, scientists have learned that our brain, we produce more than 70% of our neurotransmitters actually in our gut. So when you say trust your gut, you're trusting your intuition of your nervous system in your gut. So my gut right now feels very relaxed talking with you, Mark. But what many people are unaware of is there's actually two other brains. And one of those brains is recently documented is your skin. Your skin has a number of different cell types. One of the cell types goes by a big name called keratinocytes. And those cells produce the same hormones, melatonin, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, that your central nervous system and your digestive system produce. So that's your third brain. So your skin is communicating. It can not only do you feel touch, and even delicate touch, through cells called Merkel cells, but your skin can actually see, your skin can actually hear, and your skin can actually smell. Not smell bad, but it can actually smell. Has sensory
It can
receptors.
smell bad. I
Yes,
don't mean to correct you, Paul, but
but it has receptors which can
yeah.
do all those things. And now to finish the story with the fourth brain, most people that are walking the streets of Thousand Oaks, California, and Dummerston, Vermont, where you and I are, most people are aware of our microbiome. And those are the cells that outnumber us about 2 to 1, but actually outnumber us in gene pool hundreds, if not thousands to 1. And if you include our friends, the viral kingdom, millions and billions to 1. All that said, the microbiome also exists on the skin, and that communicates. So now we're learning that there's what's called inter-kingdom signaling, so that the cells, thousands of species that are living on you and in you, are communicating to all of your human cells and developing a strategy to get through this thing we call life. And so if you have a good microbiome, you're much more likely to live a healthy life. And so what I have done over the past, actually one of the first products I created in 1982 was a microbiome support product. And so I've been doing this for 38 years, making these products, and then herbal products for over 40
I'm really curious. I mean, thank you for the comments about my skin. My wife keeps telling me to moisturize, and a lot of guys, as you know, we just don't tend to do that.
years. Yes.
And should guys moisturize?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, moisturize is maybe not the right, maybe not the right word. Moisturize, hydrate is good.
Hydrate.
When I think of moisturizing, I think of slathering creams on my face.
Right.
So I'm not a real fan of the creams, but we produce, or our for the biome produces a serum, or actually two serums, one for the delicate tissue around the eye and the other for around the face. And we're working on also one for the whole body. But that those, we use supercritically extracted oils and extracts that are going to deeply nourish the skin. And so that is I use that every day. And one of the key components in the product is a algae derivative that comes from another very big name of an algae, which I don't know if I should disturb the listeners with a big name.
Remember, this is a family show.
I got it. So I won't disturb anybody. Okay. But the algae constituent also has a hard to pronounce name. It's called astaxanthin. And it is a compound that resembles or is similar class to like beta carotene, but it's much more potent and much more effective.
It's like a vitamin A? It's like
kind of. But what it is that it's produced by an algae to protect itself from UV radiation.
Okay.
And it turns the algae from green to red. And so when you apply this red constituent, astaxanthin, your skin is deeply protected and nourished. And so I use that every day. And I think back to your original question, Mark, every man and every woman should be using this product.
The fact is that, you know, a lot of times my skin feels dry. Up until a few days ago, I had the COVID-19 beard.
Yes.
Right?
You wouldn't know it.
And no, I took it off.
Okay.
I don't care what you guys say, it itches. And I am convinced that not only does the hair grow on the outside, but it grows inside as well.
Yes.
And to cause the itching. And it's good. I just wanted to make sure that you were still in the camera view. During COVID-19, should people be taking care of their skin? I mean, we're inside most of the time. We're, you know, following stay-at-home rules, even though they're starting to relax them. We're noticing that in other parts of the country, as they've been other parts of the world, as they've been relaxed, that there has been a spike in the number of COVID-19 cases. And so, you know, my wife and I, our kids scattered throughout North America, there's only 2 of them, but we're staying at home,
yes.
Right? And we're not venturing out. I mean, we do for some things. In fact, talking about skin, I'm going to the dermatologist tomorrow, just for an annual checkup. So my question is, should we be concerned about our skin during this time?
Absolutely. The skin. You introduced this section perfectly, Mark. It is the largest organ of the body, and most people don't think of it this way, but it is also an immune organ. And there are other cells of the skin called Langerhans cells. And those cells, along with the keratinocytes, produce interferons and other important antiviral and antimicrobial properties. So our skin is really, really critical for our healthy immune response. And so it's very important that we nourish our skin from within. That's that's incredibly important as we. I mean, I think the universal language, which is just about everybody agrees, eat as fruits and vegetables, whole fruits, whole vegetables. You're getting your nutrient density, and that ultimately nourishes the skin. And so, in a healthy lifestyle, if you're stressed, and stress is really has gotten a bad rap. Stress is really good for you. It's just when you don't
Oh
manage it
my.
well. Well, it is. I must just like it's like exercise. What do you think exercise is?
It's stress. You're
It's
putting
just
stress on your body.
exactly, but it's regulated stress.
Right.
So we need to we need to look at stress differently. We need to change our mindset about it. One of my favorite books by Kelly McGonigal, The Upside of Stress. We need to be mindful of the relationship of stress to our diet. And we also need to be mindful of everything we put on our skin. And so, during a time of a pandemic, I mean, this whole idea of washing your hands, it's great. And not touching your face while you're in public, very important. But how much discussion is there about what is the impact? The average American consumes over 100 pounds of refined sugar per year. The average American now is either overweight or obese, is not metabolically healthy. And as a result of that, we are much more susceptible to a more, a less intelligent immune response. So, yeah.
Being heavy, being overweight, and I know many people who are, it compromises their immune system. Are there things that you can do to the skin that will? I'd love to be able to slather something on, Paul, and drop 20 pounds.
Yes, I hear
Yeah.
you.
Right.
I'm not, it's interesting. That would be possibly in the realm of something. I think it's possible, actually, as strange as it may sound. There are, there's a whole technology, which I am not working on. It's called transdermal technology. And
Sure.
you can actually put things on your skin that will go into your bloodstream and affect your metabolic functioning. So it is not without, most people don't realize how permeable the skin is. And so you can act, but I am not creating products to help people drop 20 pounds
Got it.
externally.
But
Internally,
if you do, let me know. I don't need
you
to lose
got it.
20, okay, but
Okay,
maybe 10 or 15.
you got it.
We're running out of time. I'd like to invite you to come back sometime soon because
Thank you, Mark.
you're fascinating, and your information is really terrific. Our guest is Paul Schulick. He is a master herbalist and has created some really interesting skin care or wellness products.
Thank
And
you.
the name of the company is For the Biome. And you can go to forthebiome.com. You'll also be able to go to latenighthealth.com. Latenighthealth.com will have Paul's pretty punum face picture. He knows what that is on the website. And you'll be able to link through to Paul and all that. As we wrap up, and I did this backwards somehow, but what's the mission of For the Biome? It's interesting to me.
The mission, Mark, is to bring wellness to as many people as we possibly can, and to wellness be both mind and in body. And to the biome, many people may not know exactly what biome means. Biome means community. So for the biome means for the community. Our mission is to give back to the community.
And uh, which is fabulous as you help take care of people throughout the world with your variety of products. I look forward, right under here. um, this is really a silly question, but I always look pale to myself, or red. I don't drink that much, occasionally, and I don't get bombed. So, and I don't use any illicit drugs, or drugs that were illicit when you and I were growing up, and we're about 42 now. So you can figure out what those drugs may have been. I never did use it, but my point is, are there things to help make your skin look healthy in terms
Yes.
of color, rather
Yes.
than because old people seem to have very thin, pale skin, and that's obviously uh, people who are Caucasian, but even people who have darker skin, Hispanics, African Americans, as they age, the color, the look of the skin changes, and not
Yes.
necessarily for the better.
That's why I love that algae constituent called astaxanthin. Wait till you try it. It really does work. The feedback we've been getting has been incredible. And the science, Mark, if you key in the word, which many people may not be able to spell, astaxanthin, astaxanthin, that's our product called Shield. And you use that product and look at the science at the National Library of Medicine, and you will be blown away. It's very impressive.
Will you come back sometime, Paul?
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you for inviting me, and a real pleasure to see you in the Zoom land.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
Yes, it's
come on
wonderful.
out, and we'll do it in studio or something.
Sounds fabulous.
Okay. I'm Mark Alyn. Hold on, Paul. I'm Mark Alyn for Late Night Health. Join us at latenighthealth.com. And again, you can go to forthebiome.com for more information on Paul and all the wellness products and that free meditation. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.